Good evening. Ugly scenes have erupted in Melbourne's legal precinct as right-wing protesters clashed with anti-racism activists. The groups had gathered for a court appearance by 3 members of the United Patriots Front who've been charged over a mock beheading.
They claim they didn't want today to be about the chaos. But when these extremist groups meet, it only ever ends one way. The arrival of United Patriots Front leader Blair Cottrell inflamed an already hostile situation, which pushed pedestrians onto the road as dozens of police scrambled to control the mayhem. The only way to create calm was for officers to push Cottrell and his 2 co-accused, Neil Erickson and Christopher Shortis, into court. The trio is charged with defacing a footpath and wall, willful damage aiming to incite contempt for Muslims and behaving in an offensive manner after they filmed a mock beheading outside Bendigo Council in 2015.
Through this hearing, freedom of speech in Australia either lives or it dies. If we get convicted of this, anyone can be convicted for hurting someone else's feelings.
All 3 men represented themselves inside court, which at times proved to be just as chaotic as the scenes outside. The magistrate was often forced to remind them about court procedures as they fumbled their way through arguments. The hearing is expected to last 3 days and protesters from both sides have promised they will return. Chanel Vella, 7 News.
Police were forced to move in on noisy protesters as 3 members of far-right extremist group the UPF fronted court. Without lawyers, the men charged over a mock beheading are trying to have their case thrown out. Court reporter Jade Vincent.
As expected, ugly and familiar scenes erupted as soon as the far right and left were within arm's reach. The United Patriots Front versus anti-racism protesters, and at least 50 police officers formed a barricade between them. Scuffles broke out as 3 members of the UPF arrived for their day in court. Messages lost in competing megaphones.
It is teaching our youth to hate our nation. No Nazis, never again.
Blair Cottrell, Neil Erickson and Christopher Shortis are all charged with inciting racial contempt and defacing property over a mock beheading performed outside Bendigo City Council offices in 2015. A toy sword and a red liquid used in the demonstration against a proposed mosque. The UPF leader and his co-accused are fighting the charges in what they claim is a landmark case.
Today and through this hearing, freedom of speech in Australia either lives or it dies.
All 3 men are representing themselves in court. Clearly unfamiliar with procedure and protocol, they cross-examined witnesses using phrases commonly heard in television legal dramas.
The outcome of the case is yet to be determined, and that once the manner of public record is established by a determination of the court, then I can talk about the specifics.
With heightened security and limited space in the courtroom, tensions remained high. The accused men say they want fair and accurate reporting of the court proceedings, yet when I tried to enter the courtroom this morning, a UPF member blocked me at the door, demanding seats be reserved for other UPF supporters. I was forced to call on a PSO for assistance. Jade Vincent, 9 News.